Fashion is a form of art, and art is never truly practical. In 1624, 23-year-old King Louis XIII of France faced a crisis. He was losing his hair. At a time when a monarch's hair symbolized power and nobility, Louis was determined not to let baldness tarnish his image. So, he made a decision that kicked off a 150-year-long fashion trend. He donned a grand, full wig. People had worn wigs for various reasons long before Louis XIII, whether for hygiene, theatrical purposes, or even to fight the signs of aging. In fact, wigs date as far back as ancient Egypt, where skilled hairdressers sculpted them into intricate styles for the elite. Under certain Roman emperors, wigs became particularly extravagant, with poets mocking their excessive layers. However, in the Middle Ages, the Catholic Church frowned upon wig wearing, pushing for a more modest appearance. Consequently, those who did wear wigs in medieval Western Europe opted for styles that looked more natural. But this started to change in the 1500s, when wigs regained popularity as fashion accessories. Queen Elizabeth I of England had over 80 red wigs to mask her thinning hair, one of which was even placed on her funeral effigy. Still, it wasn't until Louis XIII debuted his splendid hairpiece that wigs truly took off. Inspired by their king, Louis's courtiers followed suit, eager to gain his favor. Soon, aristocrats across Europe adopted the look. The trend likely grew even more popular due to hair loss from mercury treatments, which were used to combat syphilis and other illnesses. Beyond covering up bald spots, wigs were praised for their convenience, sparing wearers from the hassle of daily hair washing and styling. By the mid-1600s, the craze exploded under Louis XIII's son, Louis XIV. At that time, fashion trends were largely set by Spain. But Louis XIV wanted France to be the epicenter of style, so his government heavily invested in its luxury industry. They established specialized guilds, formalized seasonal fashion collections, and even enforced dress codes at court. Imports that could be produced within France or its colonies were banned. To further emphasize the importance of French-made fashion, Louis XIV once ordered his son, also named Louis, to burn a coat made from foreign fabric. With wealth pouring in from its growing colonial empire, France quickly amassed both wealth and influence, and French-style wigs adorned heads across Europe. These men's wigs, called full-bottom wigs, were massive and required a staggering amount of hair. In fact, 10 full heads of hair might go into just one wig. Wigmakers flourished, and within a century, the number of wigmakers in Paris quadrupled. Even tiny villages often had at least one wigmaker. Most wigs were crafted from human hair, likely sourced from lower-income women, or were made from cheaper alternatives like wool or horsehair. Maintaining them was no easy feat. To clean and deodorize their wigs, wearers used perfumed powders made from flour, chalk, and aromatics like violet, rose, clove, and lemon. This process was so messy that entire rooms were set aside just for powdering wigs, hence the origin of the term powder room. By the mid-1700s, men's wigs became simpler, typically featuring curls around the face and a ponytail in the back. But women's wigs reached new heights, literally. Some wigs towered up to a meter tall, constructed with rods, ribbons, and wool for support. These towering structures could be adorned with a variety of accessories, from feathers to figurines. Lighter colored wigs became the trend, often tinted with powders in soft shades of purple, pink, or blue. Not everyone embraced this fashion. Caricaturists poked fun at those who wore big wigs, portraying them as frivolous and flamboyant. And in Europe's hotter colonies, wigs were seen as impractical. A visitor in Maryland in 1740 noted that so few people wore wigs there, it seemed like they were all either sick or getting ready for bed. In the late 1700s, a backlash against aristocratic excess gained momentum. During a bread shortage, powdered wigs, which used flour, were viewed as wasteful and out of touch. The French Revolution soon erupted, and by 1795, England's Parliament passed a powder tax that led many to abandon the trend entirely. Thus, the era of big wigs ended abruptly, leaving them as remnants of a flamboyant and extravagant chapter in fashion history. And that's it. Check out our other videos and dive deeper into the fun side of learning.